Alright, two matches to look at today. Sevilla versus Rayo Vallecano and FC Utrecht versus AZ Alkmaar. Let's start with Sevilla and Rayo. This is probably the game where I've changed my mind the most. Rayo had the better season last year, finished above Sevilla, reached the Conference League final, and overall they looked like the more consistent team. Sevilla, on the other hand, had a pretty rough season, but in preseason, Rayo's defense has looked quite shaky during preseason. They're also starting the season with a new manager, and there are some defensive and squad issues that make me less comfortable trusting them. Sevilla aren't perfect either. Their squad has changed quite a lot. There are still some uncertainties, and their defense was one of their problems last season, but they actually had some decent preparation. And there's one result that caught my attention. Sevilla beat Utrecht 1-0 in preseason. We're going to talk about Utrecht in the second game, and their preseason proves one thing: they're not lost completely. Then there's the obvious factor. They're playing at home, so now I'm looking at the two sides and thinking, I don't think this is a comfortable Sevilla game at all. Actually, out of these two matches, this is the one where I see the highest probability of a draw, which is going to ruin the points. It feels like one of those games where both teams have a reasonable argument. Neither side has enough of an advantage to be sure, so I'm not sitting here saying Sevilla are clearly better. Easy pick. No, it's much closer than that. I was genuinely on Rayo until very late, but Rayo's defensive situation is what finally pushed me away from them. So, my pick for Sevilla, but with a very strong draw warning. Now FC Utrecht versus AZ Alkmaar. Now let's move over to Utrecht and AZ, and this one gives me a different feeling. Again, I'm not going to call it a guaranteed win. Utrecht are at home and they finished above AZ last season, so there's definitely an argument for Utrecht. But AZ have given us something very difficult to ignore. They beat PSV 4-0, and yes, there was a red card involved in that game. But still, 4-0 against the Dutch champions. Then AZ started their league campaign with a 2-0 win over ADO Den Haag. Utrecht, meanwhile, started with a 2-1 defeat to Groningen. So when I put those things together, AZ have simply given me the stronger early signal. And then there's the little connection from the first game. Sevilla beat Utrecht 1-0 in preseason. Again, I'm not going to build some ridiculous football equation around that. But it's interesting, because when I was analyzing Sevilla, Utrecht was actually one of the teams I looked at. And now we're looking at Utrecht against AZ. For me, the biggest thing is simply that AZ currently look more convincing. But compared with Sevilla Rayo, I'm much more comfortable with the direction here. So, my pick for Utrecht versus AZ is AZ Alkmaar.